Welcome students. Nice to meet you again. I hope you are all traveling in the journey of learning. Am I right children? Yes, come on. Let's continue the journey. Now, in this video session, I am going to teach you the second lesson in geography. Do you have any guess children? What is today's topic? What is the second lesson in geography? Yes, the topic is inside our earth. We all know that our home planet is earth. It has so many names such as blue planet, watery planet, living planet and so on. It is also named as dynamic planet. Do you know the reason children why our planet is called as dynamic planet? The reason is our earth is constantly undergoing changes both inside and outside of the earth. First, let us learn about the interior of the earth. Observe the picture children. In onion, there are several layers. Similarly, our earth also has several layers. Just like an onion, our earth is made up of several concentric layers with one inside another. Now, let us discuss about the different layers of the earth. The layers of the earth are crust, mantle, outer core and inner core. This picture shows the physical state of matter of the different layers of earth. Inner core, it is in the solid form. Outer core, liquid form. Outer mantle, in the solid or in the plastic form. Inner mantle, solid. And the last crust is also in the solid form. Now, let's learn the different layers of our earth in detail. First, the outermost layer of our earth is the crust. Layer of rock that forms Earth's outer skin is the crust. It is thinnest under the ocean and it is thickest under the mountain, that is under the continental. The crust is of two types, continental and oceanic crust. I have shown the two types of crust. Continental crust, which consists of landforms. Oceanic crust, which consists of water bodies. Now, let us see the comparison between continental crust and the oceanic crust. Continental crust are thick, less dense than the oceanic crust and mostly older in nature. Oceanic crust, thin, dense, sinks under continental crust and young in nature. Continental crust is about 25 miles, that is 32 kilometers, thick under the continents. Oceanic crust is only about 3 to 5 miles, that is 8 kilometers thick under the oceans. Continental crust is mostly consists of granite, but the oceanic crust is mostly composed of basalt. Now let us see the main minerals of Earth's crust. Scientists have identified more than 4,000 minerals in our Earth's crust. A few are common, but many are uncommon. The common minerals in our Earth's crust are silica, aluminium and magnesium. The continental crust is mainly composed of or consists of silica and aluminum. So it came to be called as Cl. On the other hand, oceanic crust, which is mainly composed of silica and magnesium, came to be called as Sima. Why it is named as Cl and Sima? The reason is Cl is a material rich in silicon and aluminium. From silicon, the first two letters have been taken, and from aluminium also the first two letters have been taken, and the four letters combined together and called as Cl. Sima is rich in silicon and magnesium. In the same way, first two letters of each minerals have been taken and togetherly called as Sima. Here are the differences between Cl and Sima. Cl, this is the uppermost layer of the Earth's crust, that is continental crust. This is below the Cl layer present in oceanic crust. Cl, its thickness is nearly 20 km. In Sima, its average thickness is about 25 to 30 km. Cl is composed of silica and aluminium. Therefore, it is known as the layer of Cl. Sima, it is composed of silica and magnesium. Therefore, it is known as Sima. Continental crust is called Cl. Under it, the oceanic crust is called as Sima. The crust is composed of two rocks. The continental crust is mostly granite and the oceanic crust is mostly basalt. Basalt is much denser than the granite. Because of this, the less dense continents, they ride on the denser oceanic plates. Now we can see the second layer of our earth, that is mantle. What is mantle? Mantle surrounds the core. It is a soft layer of molten rock called magma. Once magma reaches the surface, it is called as lava. If it is inside our earth, it is called as magma, and once the magma reaches the surface, it is called as lava. Lava is a hot liquid. It is about 1790 miles deep. The mantle is the layer below the crust. The mantle is the largest layer of the earth. The thickness is approximately 2850 km. The mantle is also divided into two regions, the upper and the lower. I have shown you the location of upper mantle and lower mantle. The red color, it is the upper mantle, and orange shows the lower mantle. Now let us discuss about the upper mantle. It lies between crust and the lower mantle, in between the crust layer and the lower mantle layer. Rocks are brittle enough to break under stress. Due to high pressure and temperature, the rocks can be able to break. In this upper mantle, the earthquakes starts to occur. This upper mantle is made up of silicates of iron and magnesium. Now, lower mantle. This is close to the core. It consists of silicon, magnesium and oxygen. Rocks are soft and it flows with forces. Now we shall learn about the last layer of the earth, that is the core. See the location of core and it shows how hot is the core. Where it is located? The core is located below the mantle and to the center of the earth. It is believed to be mostly iron and small amounts of nickel, almost no oxygen, silicon, magnesium or aluminum. And it is made up of, core is made up of elements of iron and nickel. 1/3 part of the earth's mass is core. The core is larger than on the planet Mars. The core is very hot and it also very dense. This core is also divided into two layers, that is the outer core and the inner core. And the picture shows the location of outer core and the inner core. Now outer core. The core of the earth is like a ball of very hot metals. The outer core is in the liquid form. The outer core is made up of iron and is very dense. Now inner core. The solid inner layer is called the inner core. The temperature reaches 5000 degrees centigrade. The temperature at which iron and nickel starts to melt. The extreme pressure pushes the particles so tightly together that they remain in the solid form. The solid iron produces a magnetic field. I think we are seeing so many rocks in our surrounding areas. Do you know what are rocks? The earth is made up of mostly rocks. Rocks are non-living solids found in nature and it is composed of or consists of minerals. Rocks can be found on earth's surface and also in the inside of our earth. These are the minerals present in rocks such as quartz, basalt, marble, granite, slate, sandstone and so on. The earth's crust is made up of various types of rocks. Let us see the major types of rocks alone. 3 major types of rocks alone we shall learn now. Types of rocks. Rocks can be divided into 3 major types: igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks and metamorphic rocks. What is igneous rocks? Igneous is a word derived from Latin word ignis. Ignis means fire. How igneous rocks are formed? Igneous rocks are formed when the molten magma cools. After the molten magma cools, the solid rocks thus formed are called as igneous rocks. Do you know, children, what is the word magma? Do you know what is magma? Magma forms from the melting of mantled rocks The rocks present in the mantle layer, due to heat and high pressure, it starts to melt. As the magma moves upward due to the movement of tectonic plates, they start to melt a little bit and rises or comes up through the earth's crust. When the magma flows on the earth's surface, it is named as lava. The cooled and hardened lava becomes igneous rocks. The lavas of different volcanoes, when cooled and hardened, differ much in their appearance and composition. See, children, how the hot liquid, that is the magma, gushes through the earth's crust and slowly flows down. Igneous rocks make up of most of the rocks on earth, which is used for building materials because they are very hard and last a long time. Among the different types of rocks, igneous rocks are most abundant, more plenty. They are also known as primary rocks. There are two types of igneous rocks. One is extrusive igneous rocks and the another one is intrusive igneous rocks. Let us see what is extrusive igneous rocks and intrusive igneous rocks. When the molten lava comes on the earth's surface, it rapidly cools down and becomes solid. Rocks formed in such a way on the crust are called extrusive igneous rocks. They have very fine grained structure, that is small sand particles. For example, basalt. The Deccan Plateau is made up of basalt rocks. Sometimes the molten magma cools down deep inside the earth's crust. Solid rocks so formed are called intrusive igneous rocks. Since they cool down slowly, they form large grains. For example, granite. For example, what is that? Granite. These smaller sand particles are called as sediments. Sorry, children. Let us learn first the sedimentary rocks. Rocks roll down, crack and hit each other and are broken down into small fragments, small particles. These smaller particles are called sediments. These sediments are transported and deposited by wind, water and so on. These loose sediments are compressed and hardened to form layers of rocks. These types of rocks are called sedimentary rocks. These smaller sand particles are called as sediments. Sandstone. What is this, children? Sandstone. Sandstone is an example for sedimentary rocks. It is made from grains of sand. These rocks may also contain fossils of plants, animals and other microorganisms that once lived on them. Now, metamorphic rocks, the last layer of rocks. Igneous and sedimentary rocks can be changed into metamorphic rocks under great heat and pressure. How it is formed? Under great heat and pressure. See, children, here limestone is a sedimentary rock which is slowly converted into marble whereas marble is a metamorphic rock. Marble is formed when limestone is exposed to high temperature and pressure. I think children already have learnt about rock cycle, but also I'll explain you about the rock cycle. One type of rock changes to another type under certain conditions in a cyclic manner is called rock cycle. This process of transformation of the rock from one to another is known as the rock cycle. You have already learned when the molten magma, the hot liquid, when it cools, it becomes igneous rock. These igneous rocks are broken down into smaller particles that are transported and deposited to form sedimentary rocks. When the igneous and sedimentary rocks are subjected to heat and pressure, they change into metamorphic rocks. The metamorphic rocks, which are still under great heat and pressure, melt down to form molten magma. This molten magma again can cool down and solidify into igneous rocks. So, one type of rock changes to another type of rock under certain conditions in a cyclic manner is called as rock cycle. How do people use rocks? How are rocks useful to us? Let us see. Uses of rocks. People use rocks for building materials and for industrial processes. Granite, a type of rock, is used in floors and kitchen counters. And another rock named limestone, it is used to cut easily into blocks or slabs and is used in buildings. It is also used in making cement and steel. Slate splits, it can split easily into flat pieces and it is used for flooring and roofing. And some other uses of rocks. It also acts as a source of minerals. So many minerals are present in rocks. And rocks are used in the construction purpose also. It also acts as aquifers. They are good sources of water. They also form mountains which are places of scenery, acts as a scenic beauty. Now let us see mineral. What is a mineral? A mineral is a naturally occurring inorganic solid with a specific chemical composition and a definite crystalline structure. In our day-to-day life, we are using so many minerals. Now let us see the importance of minerals. Minerals are used in construction and it is used for making utensils, machinery parts and so on. It is also used in making acids, for chlorine and mineral water, photography and for medicinal purposes. It acts as the heart of industries, for example, iron and steel. And it's a source of foreign exchange. It also shows the symbol for development, that is economic growth. Now children, is the time for assignments. At the back side of the book, that is in the second lesson, there are some book back exercise in page number 10 and 11. Read the book first. Read the book and then complete the book back exercise in page number 10 and 11. Thank you children. See you again.